So this next guy will be a familiar face to a lot of you. I'd like to introduce Martin Bowerman. He's obviously a TV presenter who you would have, he's born and bred here in Queensland. He's written Fishing Australia, Channel 7, Creek to Coast, Great South East, so he probably needs very little more than that in terms of introduction. So as Martin makes his way up there, Martin has been involved in the lobbying since the 1970s in relation to, in particular, the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park and access to those.
Speak from here. It won't last more than 5 minutes. But let me tell you that since about the 1970s, the Environment Departments in Australia have been doing something very rude to the fishermen. They've been giving us wedgies. What they've been doing is playing wedge politics or working on wedge issues, what you and I would probably call divide and conquer. Now, it's something they know that works. We've seen plenty of opportunities of that in action. I've been around. I wrote the first recreational fishing article in 1972 of mine, the first commercial fishing article in 1974. I've heard all sides of the arguments. I've straddled the fence very precariously with my, well, I've been on the barbed wire, put it that way, and had a leg on either side of it. I know it feels fairly uncomfortable at times. But what it has basically seen is that recreational and commercial fishermen have been able to be divided by environment departments who know that it works. What they basically do with wedge politics is have two groups who should be working together, in fact fighting each other. And that's what's happened over many years. We've seen lots of opportunities. Probably, what is it, 30% of voters at the next federal election, whichever way they vote, fish. 95% of those voters either fish or eat fish. 9 out of 10. That's a very powerful force. It just needs us to convince our commercial and recreational fishing mates that it's worth sticking together. And that means that the next time a proposal comes up from Marine Park, that recreational fishing representatives don't take the bait, the Marine Park hook that's baited with yellow zones. They don't press now for more bans on commercial fishing in areas that are already zoned yellow. It means actually sticking together. You've heard mention of the Pew Group. WWF and the Pew Group are working very hard to close all of the Coral Sea, along with the area off Rainbow Beach, Fraser, along with areas in the Gulf of Carpentaria, northern New South Wales and elsewhere around Australia, to have 30% closures. What is it in Moreton Bay at the moment? 16%? That'd be 30%, as would all the rest of the waters around Australia. Bramble Bay here every year scores an F for fail when the environmental water tests are done. And why is that? It's not because of anything that any fisherman has ever done there, it's because of what comes in off the land. But as a government, any government, and they've all been guilty, it's much easier to appear to take action by banning fishermen than it is to fix the real problems which are on the land. If there's a need to protect areas along the coast, the way to do that is not to close more water, but to look after more land. It's a simple message, but it's the right one. The one thing about Pew, which is an American group that has a budget of $5 billion from Sun Oil, and about WWF, which is a Swiss-based multinational with hundreds of staff, dozens of offices around the world, and a turnover every year of $500 million, is that those groups are united and they work in lockstep to close areas to fishing, and they do it very effectively, very efficiently and very powerfully. Unfortunately, because we're all independent hunters, we all want to be out there on the water rather than standing around in a group like this, we haven't been able to do it effectively. Anglers, commercial fishermen and seafood eaters have enormous power. They have 95% of the votes that are going to be lodged at the next election. The other 5% are vegetarians and they're going to vote for the Greens anyway. What it needs to do, there are 3 things we need to do to turn that potential power into real power. And those three things are stand together, and stand together. Thank you.